historic Newtown, Pennsylvania, man. Got the Hilton suite rocking, man. This old lady getting ready to go out. You didn't see that, though, because we're a little discreet about that. We're here on some non-swap meet days. What big Cecil thing? Doesn't look like it's going to be very nice out. We have to act quickly on this vacation. A little Pennsylvania trek. Got a kitchenette in this suite, man. I'd like to show you the digs, man. I'd like you to understand the way that it works here out in Pennsylvania, man. So I'll report to you later if our guitar dreams have been realized. One day. Someday. Any day, man.
Are you sad, Guitkit, that you didn't get a guitar on your Pennsylvania trip?
Actually, as I always do, I'm hitting up the Craigslist. On this Philadelphia Craigslist, I want you to look at this here. The Henry Vaccaro. This is a prototype. This is well kept, well sounding. It's an H-1. And I think he's looking for 95. I think I can offer the guy 50. And maybe get it for 60. We'll see. I'm going to send him a text right now. And this might not be a wasted trip to our friends in the Keystone State. Because I don't like leaving empty-handed. See you one. Two. Here's a rundown on the Craigslist action, man. Send him the text, $50. Calls me up immediately. All right, he's, I think I'll do it. And he calls the guy he says he's selling it for. He texts me back. He's like, I can only do 75, man. You know what I mean? Because I ain't playing this game. He's like, well, it's got a case. Right? Big on talking about this case. You know what? I'll be around all day, man. I got $50 and I'm not really burning a hole in the pocket, right? I don't need your damn case, right? Thinks about it. $60 got the case. I said, ooh. Now you're talking. Now you're talking my language. Where you at? I'm coming, man. I'm coming for you with my $60. Just like I said I would, man. I'll see you in a minute. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not like real, but I know he made a whole bunch of these in 3 and Kramer too. Kramer, yep, and he was Bob was always there pretty cool. Hey man, I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so I'm back at the hotel. You see where this is broken. It's gonna have to be replaced, right? See the model number, right? The sticker on the headstock, probably the most valuable things about this guitar. But it's still got the Korea sticker on it. Tuners look like they're good. It's got this nice little flashy piece. These are noted to be good instruments. You know what I'm saying? Excellent instrument. I don't know. The guy also said, hey man, it's got all the strings on it too. It's gotta be worth something, right? Hey man, my teeth fell out. So, once we get back to New Jersey, I'll see you in the laboratory. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what we have to do. This is like the substitute slab. Maybe we'll get a hold of Mr. Vaccaro himself. See if he can shine a light on this instrument. Welcome back to the laboratory. And may I state, I'm glad to be back in the Garden State. So here we are, man, back in Jersey. We took a look at this old fucking thing, man. It's a little pretty bad, man. In poor condition. Look at the frets, man. Look how, let me turn the flash up on this thing, man. Living like a hurricane, friends. Yeah, man. You see that? They're all flat. Look how flat that is, man. Crazy, man. Somebody must have done a, you know what I mean, amateur job on this, or I hate to say, you know what I'm saying, there's hardly any meat left on here, man. Look at that. Upsetting, man. Hashtag upsetting. And we're missing one of these. And these are like the wide eyes, man. I used to have a couple of these, man. Usually like this, you know, like a smaller eye. Although I think that these ones have a little slight bigger than this one. Lots of variation in your holes, man. This guy's got a bigger hole than that guy. He's got a little hole. We liked him when we was in the penitentiary. In the penetrationary. So, it is. I think I'm going to keep that. We're going to have to get a new one of these. I've already ordered one. Actually, one was in Pennsylvania. I already ordered. I'm a busy beaver, man. I'm a busy old beaver. So hopefully it'll be here soon. This is like what they call an 8-hole Martin style. But I think that the holes are slightly like different on the ones that are like, you know, the import model. I don't know. You know, we'll see when it'll be better for us if the hole's in a different place. That way it'll be, you know, something we can tell our grandchildren. I'll drill a hole in old Henry Vaccaro's getter. So I actually sent a little message to Henry Vaccaro to give a little bit more information, because I don't want to present the history of this instrument until I know the truth. I looked on the internet and everything's a little bit like, well, I think that Colonel Sanders came down from outer space in a UFO and gave these to Mr. Vaccaro. People are saying they're prototypes because a lot of these are like, you know, written like, you know what I mean, all leaned on, you know what I'm saying. Where's my glasses at? Right? I don't know. You know what I mean? It looks like a real solid, beautiful instrument. I love the beautiful bindings and the, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's nice, man. It's like a nice instrument. I love it. This is all inlay binding. I like that, man. I like that. I don't care what country you made that in. If it's a solid instrument, man. There's definitely overspray here in the USA after Mr. Vaccaro put his, this is hand done. You can tell it's hand done. You know what I'm saying? I think he did it himself, but I'm sure it was the same person that designed this label. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he had a ruler this time. Hey, I got a ruler for you. Shut the front door. So this thing is not able to be tuned the way it is. The intonation is constantly to be off because this is way too far up north. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go back down south, boy. You can see it's already been glued before unsuccessfully, man. There's been problems. We need the new part. We can't live without it. We're gonna line up the new holes where they should be. It doesn't look like the glue's like holding us down at all anymore. I don't know if there was glue, man. I'm confused about the situation. It's really upsetting me as an American citizen. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait till that part comes, and that time period we're going to take this off. Take these strings, look like Martin mediums. Martin mediums for about 25 years ago. Appears to me we might be able to get away with using these guys again. Like the guy was saying, hey, it's got 6 strings on it. That ought to be worth at least $5. In this economy means strings are the only thing that have gotten cheaper since my youth, man. I paid $6.95 or $4.95, I believe, plus tax for the cheapest strings when I was a kid. I'm talking about a kid. Well, over, like, you know, 30 years ago, man. Over that period, man. And now I get them right off of AliExpress, man. If I buy them in bulk, I can get them $1 a pack, man. Straight up, man. So we're going to keep these vintage strings. You know what I mean? We're going to take them out. We're going to examine it. We're going to give her a look-see once we take the strings off. See if this thing will just come right off, hopefully. If not, I'll be sitting here with this thing still attached. You know what I mean? Like, well, what are we going to do, Wilbur? We're going to try to get the hardware out. With a nice X-brace in here. That's holding these little anchors in there, and reuse that when we get the new bridges in. Let's try to take these strings off. Hold these guys, man. I looked in the drawer. We do not have any of these big eyes, man. Cool, man. Actually, try to dumb it out, man. We'll try to dumb it out, or we'll just replace them all. See what we can do, right? To you know what's coming, boy. Pop right off. Just like OJ said, man. Just say right off. Once I thought stabbing it. But anyway, so I put some clips on these strings because I'm not even gonna take them off this. I'm saying I'm not, you know what I mean, really waiting on a big job here. Got the screws all came out. We have exactly the right ones where they belong. This thing, you know, luckily took most of the glue with it. Most of this is pure wood. There's no nary glue to be found, which is good, man. This thing has been glued together many, many times. It's very, very, you know what I mean? It's not going to work. Not going to work there, Noriega. We got to negotiate further. Don't think we're going to do it. Would not be prudent, right? We're going to dumb out one of these. I'll show you how to do it, man. We're going to make it great again. We got this unique looking, this is actually made out of the husk of a tortoise that is now extinct from the Galapagos, right? It had like a unicorn emblem on it. It was rare, very rare. Right, W? Yeah, I seen it, Poppy. This is where we used to pop these guys out. These little stubs, whenever you have these guys like really wedged in, you know, if you're, you know, at an entry level like guitar hunter, you know what I'm saying, and trying to, you know what I'm saying, do a forensic on an old bust up guitar and you just can't get, you know, the bridge has been destroyed somehow and you want to try to save these, this is the thing to have. This is a great tool. I've seen tools like this advertised real cheaply. They're not very useful. Not very useful at all. Anyway, what we're going to do now is we're just going to wait. We're going to wait till William comes. All right, we'll see the AliExpress. I didn't order just one. I ordered two just in case. Because sometimes the rosewood, East Indian rosewood that they use on AliExpress has like, you know what I'm saying, goodness and badness. And these are going to be raw, unfinished. This is all nice and shiny and buffed out and nicely lacquered or shellacked, something like that. All right, we're going to try to get another one. See you in a minute, right? 1, 2, 3. There they are, man. Old Albert Express, man. Isn't it great? So I got two of them. They're actually pretty beautiful, both of them. You know what I mean? One of them, this one has a lot of brown over here. You know what I mean? It's the brown versus the green. This is a lot of discoloration. You know what I'm saying, man? I'm just going to pick the most pretty one. I think this one's the most pretty one. Start doing some finalizing on it. I'll take this little label off. It says, oh, one of these is embedded with coronavirus number 24. One is not. Good luck to you, American, to find the one that will not kill you. And time will begin now, right? But luckily it's the exact same size. It's the same size as the target, as Colin Powell said in his libro, which he wrote nasty things about me and Barr. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, the holes line up, although these holes have to be re-drilled. They are not in the same place. Not at all. But I think we'll be able to get away with these other holes. And I'll show you why. You know why, William? I'm going to show you why. I bet you that you're wondering why. Well, if you just want to wonder one moment, we don't even need this one, right? I'm just going to line up right here. Line up individually. It's almost perfect. You know what I'm saying? Almost perfect. There's this like top piece on there, but it's like really futile because it's you know what I'm trying to get at, man. The holes are in the same place. There it is. That's the money shot, my friend. That's the money shot. Right. So, I've shown you the money shot, man. Will you accept me into your club, man? I've done everything I had to do. Let's clean this guy up, polish him up, drill the holes out, Make sure that they do line up. We use these holes with a hole gauge to find the correct exact drill size. You know what I mean? Holy crow, Batman, right? Figure it out, man. We got metric, we got regular, right? We got tea, we got coffee, whatever you want, son. You know what I mean? We're gonna figure this shit out, man. We're gonna do it together. So first thing we gotta do, clean him up, man. Clean him up. I'll see you after he's been sanded down. Right? I'll show you how I did it, man. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. All right, so I've decided, in good thinking, that the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bore out these string holes. The reason being, I spent all this time, you know what I'm saying, sanding this and polishing it and French polishing it with shellac and mineral oil. And then I, you know what I mean, try to drill it out. I fuck it up and I got to do the other one. You know what I'm saying? So I might as well make sure I don't fuck it up firsthand because this is the most challenging thing. This is a number 5 hole that's drilled out in the original bridge piece. 5 metric. There's a number 5 metric bit right there. And we already lined it up with the old hole, and it is 1,000% perfect. So we're going to install this bit into this particular drill press, which is my favorite drill press. My little corner keeper, right? Hand drill them out. I'm pretty good, you know what I mean? Especially when we got huge leads like this. We're going to use these hole drilling bits, you know what I'm saying? These guys don't have the blast outs around this corner, you know what I'm saying? The Brad tops. They're the best ones, man. And this German brand I got a couple years ago, man, made in China, but it was made for some German company. Man, they're fucking good. I've used them many, many times, and they never get dull. They never fuck up. So let's do it out, man. See how I can do it, man. And I know he really can do it. I got my mind set on you. Gloria, it's nursery. Gloria. That's beautiful, man. Proud of myself. You should be proud of yourself, Nor. Doing better. Defending yourself. Anyway, it's time to move on. You know what I was noticing? I was just checking this. This is the spare, man, just in case we fuck up, right? This label here, man. 4624. It's just like made to order like a plate of lo mein, bro. That's like the day I ordered it, right toward the end of spring break. You know what I'm saying? The exact date. They don't fuck around, the Chinese, man. They're serious. Like, you know what I'm saying? They won't let you down, man. I give what you want to you immediately. Immediately. I got it, man. They made it. That's the manufacturer date. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, let's begin our little process of whittling him down. We're going to get a little sandpaper on him. Start 300 up to, say, I don't know, 600, 700, 800, 1,000 maybe. And then we're going to do some steel wool. At that point, I'm going to see you again. I'm going to show you our progress. The bottom, we just did a quick sanding on the countertop after we're done, just to clean it off. It looks gorgeous, man. Those bits, those brad tips, man. Telling you, man. Hot stuff, man. Good stuff. I'll see you when we're bulbing. Smooth them down. Smooth them out. All right. You're going to want to look for that shine. See that natural sheen the wood has? And you get it real nice and good. It's great. So we don't want to get any stuff on the bottom, man. We want to stuff it up, man. So I got some masking tape. We'll put some masking tape, you know what I'm saying, on the bottom of it. Maybe double layer it. Where I cut around it so we have no overhang. I'm going to do it in a couple seconds. And then I'll come back. I'll show it to you. Ready? And there it is, man. Covered up so it doesn't get covered up, man. We don't want any covers, man. Nice and smooth, man. Everything looks great. Got some mineral Earl, man. Old mineral Earl. Help you take a pooper. You got an old t-shirt. I'm going to rub this guy down. Darken him up. Get him looking rosy. Right? But we're not going to keep it drying too long. So I'm going to show you right after we grease it up. I'm going to tell you how long we're going to leave it set based on how dark it gets. See you in a second. Alright, so I just greased it up. Looks great. Let's just wipe it down completely, man. Wipe it down completely. Right? So no more grease can come off. I'll see you in a moment. Alright, we're looking good. We got it on a piece of paper here. Got some old Zinzire shellac, right? Zinzire shellac, man. We're gonna put a nice liberal. You liberal? We're gonna put some shellac on here while it's still a little wet. That's like a French polish kind of thing, man. Ready? Set, go. Yeah, a nice thick coat of shellac. Put just enough in this little bowl here. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful butterscotch smelling shellac, man. Okay, I'm just gonna let it dry. Got a nice thick kind of groovy coat, man. It dries out, we'll sort of polish it up. Right? Right. See you in about, I don't know, about a date. One date, my friend, one date. Alright, so it's the next day. Last night I put 2 more coats on. This morning was a nice sunny day, so I let it outside, sort of bake out. And those, you know what I mean? Ultraviolet rays, man. Just pick up a little bit of extra something. So it's nice and sort of cured now. So now we're going to oil sand it the French polish way. A little bit of mineral oil. Just a little dab out there, man. I got 600, 1500, and 3000. Pretty much virgin pieces of sandpaper. We're just going to go over this guy. Going up the grid. You know what I'm saying? After 3000, we'll dry it off. We'll show it to you. We'll take it out and show it to you. After I've ruffled it up a little bit. You got it all greased out. Right? See you in a moment. So we sanded it up the grits with those little pieces of sandpaper. That mineral oil, nice and smooth. Right? Did it up with the hair dryer a little bit and did it again. Little fix-ups, things like that. Cleaned all the oil off it, then polished it up with a couple different polishing rags. Brought it outside, let it catch some ultraviolets for a good afternoon. 10 hours outside. The outdoors, for me, you know what I mean, always seems to like help shellac cure a little bit. Although this is a French polish, more with like an oil finish because there's a lot of oil in that shellac. So oil, once you get that in the equation, takes a little bit longer. Although the shellac supposedly is dry once the alcohol's evaporated. The oil takes a lot longer to evaporate. So that's the way it goes, man. Wait another day or two before we try to get this guy on the guitar. But in the meantime, let's take a good gander at that fussy old fucked up fretboard, right? I'll see you in a second, son. Isn't that special about the bridge? I feel it to be special. So we got a real nasty fret job here. Now the fretboard's straight. It's not really about bad. There's a slight, tiny little dip, but it's probably where it's supposed to be. I mean, it seemed okay. No dead frets when it was strung up before. It was just totally out of tune because of the intonation. I got a set of these. We'd actually use them because some of these are really worn down to like hardly anything. I don't want to mess it up. Try to get a little bit of shape going on these guys, man. Try to shape them up. Because you know what I'm saying? We got the bridge done. It's time for the body, man. Time to get our fretboard all shaped out, man. So I'll see you when our little fret job's done, man. It might be a big fret job. It might be a hard day's night. I'll see you in a moment. Look at that. They're like frets again. You know what I'm saying? Like real frets again. A lot of elbow grease, but not too much. I mean, it was enough. Ones up here weren't even that bad. Got some mineral oil. Gonna take a little tiny piece of steel wool. The finest of the fine. We're just gonna smear it in, even on the fretboard and all over. We're just gonna smooth it on out. Just grease it on up, and I'll see when we're all greased there, partner. Greased up. There we go. We're all greased up now. We're feeling all greased out, man. Oh yeah. So we're gonna let it set. Look at that, man. All the frets look gorgeous though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're made by a machine almost. They're so perfect. I'm very proud of myself, man. You can't really see it. The details in it though, but when you see it in person, you're like, wow. Much better. Let's let it sit for about 45 minutes, friend. All right. It's been about 45 minutes to 1 hour. Around about approximately, I'd say. It's mostly seeped in. So let's take this little dry t-shirt cloth and just wipe it off. We'll wipe it off and let it sit for a good day. Let it dry. And then we're going to start tackling old Bessie here. Let's just get this wiped off. I'll see you then. So, it's been about 2 days. We let it dry. After we wiped it off, and we just were chilling, man. Chilling like a fucking villain. So let's start moving on along with the process. Look at this paint here. Yeah, paint in the ass, man. Let's try to bring that down to bare wood. Everything else looks pretty woody to me. There has to be woody. Before we do anything else, though, let's put like a little rag in there. Sawdust is going to come in there. We might as well just start off with the rag. We want to protect Henry and co. See how much? There you go, man. Showing a lot more skin there now, Mrs. Noriega. So this guy's been drying a long time too. It's time to join it together with the band. So I got 2 popsicle sticks here because although this has been drying, you know what I mean, it's still impressionable. You know, we press down on it with a clamp directly and it's going to get all, you know what I mean, messy on that shellac. So we're going to take 2 popsicle sticks because we're going to have to clamp this twice because this has like a bulge because it was coming out. And if you put this guy on here, kind of like Surfing USA, you know what I mean, moves around a little bit. And not sitting too flat. There's a little hump in the middle. So we're going to have to push it down. And we're also going to have to put a clamp on it. Like holding it to the, you know what I mean, table. And then we're going to have to put a clamp inside it, holding it to the guitar. 2 little clamps. 1 on each side. 1 on each side. Right? So we're going to color these 2 popsicle sticks with a crayon, right? So they don't stick to this fresh shellac. You know what I'm saying? Rosewood's a very tough thing to finish. I've been saying it all along. Right. We're also going to put 1 pin here, 1 pin here once we glue it in there. So we got to be conscientious when we're doing it. So I'll see you in a minute. So we're actually able to get it out only 1 popsicle stick, right? So we're going to clamp it up. You know, we're going to put this here. Right, so we can clamp that on one side and this on the other side. And those 2 pieces will come out. So let's pop this tape off. You know, give it a quick sand on one side and let's clamp it up. And I'll see it that print and I'll show you what I've been talking about this whole time. And there we go, man. Got the big He-Man clamp, clamping it to the workbench. You know what I mean? Right in the middle of it, keeping it down flat. We got this deep U clamp holding the bridge real tightly to the guitar. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it should be. Looks good, man. So things in the making, man. This is the idea with this. The wax keeps the, you know what I'm saying, clamps away from the guitar. You can't even see it because it's underneath this guy, but it is there. See it a little bit on this side. See it? I don't know. I might see an imprint of the wood a little bit, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? It wears off. Use this to spread around the glue. We use always pipe cleaners always come in such wonderful handiness. Cleaning up around here. Some wet water. And the wood glue, man. So we have the bridge pins in here, keeping, you know what I mean, everything in order. Now that it's down flat and pat and, you know what I mean, it's going to be able to stay put. We'll just pull these guys right out. Pull them right out so they don't glue themselves in. Right? So we'll glue them in, let this guy set, I don't know, 2, 3 days, 4 days, something like that. And I'll see you then. 1 and 2. All right, so we got about 3 days on the clock. Tick, 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 tick. I think it's about good to unclamp. Don't you think? I think. I think so. See you then, brothers and sisters. Look at that. Look at it closely, people. Look at the condition of that bridge still. You know what I'm saying? Looking gorgeous, shiny, sheen, beautiful. I'm telling you, folks, it's a little bit old shellac, man. People say be real sparingly with the shellac. use these little things I'm talking about. You know, take a tongue depressor and color with a crayon. They're similar to the color, more or less, right? And you just use them to buffer the clamp. There was like a little mark here and like a little smudge here, and I just busted out my grotty old shop coat, man. It was like nothing. It's a little shop secret, man. Shop secret. So you see this right here? I don't know why that is, man. It's kind of weird. It's like at an angle like that because the holes are lined up 100,000,000% correct. I mean, if there was any slight sort of miscurrents, it'd be like, very apparent. But you can see very clearly that we're where we're supposed to be. So I don't know. And here, there's no differential at all. You know what I'm saying? There's no mark of a differential. This might just be, him at one point, meaning the other owner, like trying to reattach this bridge, because I see it was reattached several times, unsuccessfully, and it had been glued. It was all messed up looking. That might have been part of his mistake. So we're gonna just take some shellac on a tissue and run it across here real quick, right? Real quick, son. Don't be so speedy there. Stop staring at me, you slack jaw fool. Pass me one of them Newport Box 100s. There you go, man. A little shellac run, sort of less noticeable. You know what I'm saying? It's not perfect, but I mean, it's from all angles, especially from over here, you can barely even fucking see it. So, what we're going to do right now is let it set for a day or two, because this wood is totally flat right now. Totally level. It's plain, man. It's ready to go. And before we glued this thing on 3 days ago, whatever it was, you know what I mean? It was like humped up. You know what I mean? It was humped up because there was weird string tension going on. There's problems. Right? And now this whole thing is being held flat by the integrity of this big hunk of rosewood here. So we're going to let it just sort of settle another 2 days, I guess, before we actually factually string it up. Because if we put string tension on this right now, this beautiful level guitar might get fucking jackrabbited. You know what I'm saying? And plus we put a thick like layer of glue in there. And we want to sort of totally let that cure out. So what we're going to do is we're just going to let this settle like a day or two more. I'll see you in about 24 hours, and we'll start working on preparations to get strung up, but not strung up yet. No, son. We want to let it seether a bit. See you tomorrow morning. 24 hours. 24 hours. 24 hours. All right, so we gave it 2 days. To be more approximate, 44.37 hours. Almost approximate. So we have a little brad point drill bit here. Nice sharp M3. It's slightly bigger than the bolt that we're going to use for this, man. So we're going to easily peasily come on over here to our friend Mr. Drill Press, where that drill bit will be inserted, and we're going to go through these little points very carefully so we can accommodate this bridge with some fine screws. All right, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, so we drilled out the holes as needed. You know what I mean? Old drilly here, man. We have an amplifier holding up the guitar neck to the right level, man. We're very scientific, but we got the holes. You know what I mean? Oh, they're holier than thou, man. You can see them, man. You can witness them. You can approve of them at your own variety, man. So right now we're going to thread those little, you know what I mean, bolts in there with the nuts on the back. I'll see if that burnt when we're up on the bench. There we go, man. You see that? That's why it's extra important for that guide hole to be in 1,000,000% in the middle, and to use the drill press to get it perfect up and down, you know what I mean, through the guitar. They're real tight, and that's good. So we don't want just our screws showing like that. We got a bunch of these perloid fret markers. Fret marker dots, man. Let's just pound them in there. You can see there's a little like crust corner in the eye socket thing here, where you can stick like a little pin in there and get it out of both sides, man. It's a little trick of the trade too, man. You know what I mean? I'm like fucking David Copperfield over here, revealing all my secrets. all my secrets, right? I don't like to be secretive. Like Bob Seger, smoking a cigarette. You fool. I'll see you in a second. We're all sealed up, sonny. That's all right, Anthony. That's what I'm talking about. We don't have to talk about it. We don't want to talk about it anymore. It looks good, right? Looks excellent. Smooth, man. Smooth operator. Some cleaner wax on everything, man. Usually I'd clean it off with some furniture polish, but at this point, it doesn't need it, man. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even need it. It was case kept, as we know. We have total access. This fretboard, we do not have to put any cleaner wax on. We're actually, factually, to put some real butcher's wax on there. You see this over here, folks? You see that? That's a real can of real butcher's wax, man. I only use that on special guitars because they haven't made it in like 25 years. They stopped making in the year 2000, I believe, something like that, man. I bought that can in the year 1999. So, you know what I mean? It's like, final countdown. We're going to put that on the rosewood. All right, William. We're going to put this everywhere except for right here, which is going to get a dollop some of the special deshel. I'll see you after we've been all shined up in a sheeny manner. Right? Right. Only the best. Only the best. There it is. It's pretty sheeny shiny, man. It's pretty doggone spiffy. If I do say so myself. Oh, yeah. Now, on the front, we just did according to plan. We just went right at it with the old moms, right? And it cleaned it off, you know what I mean? There's a lot more elbow work, because this thing was secretly really dirty, you know. It had been case kept, but it had been really played. You know, you can see a hell of a lot of play wear, and the frets were ground down to nothing. So, there's all kinds of secret gunk. Now, when you clean, like, secret gunk off with just cleaner wax, you know, it'll do the trick, but sometimes the gunk will be like super pods of gunk, like over here. I feel like a couple, like super pods of gunk over here. You get like encoded in the wax, it like cleans it off to like a little pile. All the gunk together, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why this combination of this plus this usually is a lot more. You know what I mean? It's luster. Look at that. I did the sides and the back. Look at that. It's just lustrous. You know what I'm saying? I can watch myself jerk off on the guitar. It's so fucking nice, man. Hey, what the talking about, man? You're getting all unruly, man. You know what I'm saying? There's no need for that, man. Anyway, so butcher's wax, good in the hood, man. Keeping things real. You know, keeping things real. I don't know. That's what they say. Starting to kind of get some affection for that cheap, you know what I mean, min-wax stuff that we've been using in lieu of this being so rare. But, you know what I'm saying, definitely the butcher's wax does a little better of a job. It's a little bit more elbow grease, but you can tell that you know what I'm saying, it also seems a little bit more like a lot more white being left by the butcher's wax. There's a lot of white in that rosewood. That doesn't look very appealing to me. So we're like almost limping toward the end. Let's talk about this, man. This is the original piece, man, here. And it's interesting because it's like pearl, that, you know what I mean? Disco sheen, man. And it fits in there like this, but it's a little too long because the slot was like just cut differently. So what we're going to do is we're going to just look where the grooves are. We're going to line these grooves up, you know what I'm saying, with the holes. Just like make little lines here where we got to cut it to and just like sort of reshape it. You ready? Let's do that in 1, and then we'll do it 2, and then we'll do it in 3, and I'll see you in a second. There it is, man. Nice to be home. Nice to be home. Good, good, good. So this has a variety of adjustment mechanisms. It's got a nice little truss rod in there. You know what I'm saying? It's ready to go. So we talked earlier about these little shorties, and they're bigger dot. And I said I have a whole pack of these longies, right? They have a slightly smaller dot. I mean, we're talking slightly. And I was thinking, maybe I'll trick one of these out to look like this. I'll cut it down and I'll ease it up. And I thought about it, like, it's probably better on a guitar that's had bridge problems to have pins that are long as opposed to short ones. A sort of, I don't know, it just seems like, you know what I'm saying, like scientifically true, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's common sense. So I'm just going to use these guys, you know what I mean? If I find another one of these, you know what I mean, I probably won't even change them out just because of my own scientific thought. So that's it, man. We got these strings. They've been clipped the whole time. They haven't gotten caught up with each other. They're all perfectly unfettered and not tangled. We're just going to pop them back into these new holes here. We're going to use a couple of these new pins. We're going to get it on. You know what I mean? We're going to see you at the glamour shots, and we're going to look at it in a glamorous way. We're going to be happy about it. We're going to celebrate the moments, right? Celebrate the moments of our life. And there's his. Looking pretty as a peacock, and only half as hard to take care of. Look at that, man. It really is a thunderous instrument, I can just say that. And with these real thick strings on it, which is probably a mistake. These might not even be mediums, these might be heavies. I was just feeling this B string, you know what I mean? Just tighten it like, that's a mistake. But this bridge is a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? It's a little bit more meaty than the one that was on there. The one that was on there was a little bit just like, this one's like, of substance, man. It's a gorgeous instrument. So, online, there's a bit of a, you know what I mean, controversy as to when these instruments were made, and some people are saying one thing, some people are saying another thing. One person is pretty much saying that, you know what I mean, these instruments were made in the 80s, right after, you know what I'm saying, he left. Another person saying that they were made in the 90s, right after he left, you know what I'm saying? Kramer we're talking about. And I kind of looked at it, and I looked at that little sticker on the back of the headstock, the Korea sticker, and I was like, you know, this daggone sticker seems to me to be of like a late 70s sort of fashion, man. You know what I'm saying? It seems just to be very late 70s looking. And there's a couple other things that I saw on it, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's like this thing's older than like the 80s. And older than like the early 90s, man. This thing is older than time. It's older than thought. You know? I was thinking this probably came out, you know, right in the 70s, right after Kramer started to fizzle out that, you know, aluminum neck Mach 1, and right before Eddie Van Halen came to save Mach 2. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking late 70s, early 80s on this bad boy. And I said earlier in this video, I was like, why don't we just check with Mr. Vaccaro himself, man? So we did, man. I'll put up the graphic. Mr. Vaccaro, his reply. As you can see here, we only made a limited amount of them. They were made at the Court Factory in Korea, late 70s, if I recall. So there we go, man. Right from the horse's mouth. Henry Vaccaro himself. There it is, the H-1 from Henry Vaccaro. Henry Vaccaro, the great man. Legend. This is a nice instrument. I really love it, you know. Henry Vaccaro is not only a rock and roll legend because of his involvement in Kramer. He was embroiled with some of the big wigs, man. He was down with Michael Jackson, I remember, for a while. He was trying to get Michael Jackson involved in the Vaccaro Guitar Company and the Asbury Park redevelopment deal. And then he started like bickering with Michael Jackson. And he ended up with like a whole storage like facility of Michael Jackson and the Jackson family's personal possessions, and there's all kinds of like sketches Michael Jackson did of like little boys and things like that, and all kinds of little boys' underpants and things like this, strange things like communication with the Jehovah's Witnesses organization about Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? Being disbarred from the Jehovah's. I remember like reading about this years ago. You know, I mean, I don't know if like you know what I mean. He still has it. It was like shortly before Michael Jackson's demise. The contents became public. But Henry Vaccaro to me, man, he's like a local legend, man. He's like one of those locals that's like involved in his community. He's larger than life, but he's not like, you know, larger than the community, you know. And he always writes letters to this local paper called The Coaster. You know, it's one of those like papers you can get free at like restaurants and like shops in the town. It's like 50 cents or something like that elsewise. He like writes letters in there about like the history of yesteryear. His father was a great, you know, doctor. He's a pioneer in Asbury Park, you know, Henry Vaccaro the First. Anyway, that's what I respect him for, because he's got like an iron mind of fact and history and a respect for it. Now, his brother and him got involved with buying a hotel. Now, his brother also, I want to say, he has his own, one of the greatest mom and pop hardware stores up down the shore. Right now, it's a big park called the Hardware Store. They replaced like every storm and screen window in my house at reasonable prices. Just last month, I went in there on a Sunday. The grandson took my order, took the window, helped me out. You know what I mean? Priced it, I paid for it, and I went back the next Thursday, and Mr. Vaccaro himself was there, you know, and he helped me get the window, and his son, 3 generations of Vaccaro helped me with that window, and it was a very, very quick operation. Always salute their service at the hardware store. As a plug for Mr. Sam Vaccaro. But back to his brother Henry. Sam and Henry bought the Berkeley Carter Hotel, like it was the biggest hotel in Asbury Park in like the 1980s. They bought it. It's an old hotel from like the 1920s. That during the Second World War was commandeered by the government. And it became like a naval barracks. And they were trained like British naval officers there to use certain equipment, right? I believe that Obi-Wan Kenobi was in charge of the RAF portion. I remember him saying something like that in an interview. And it's just such a strange history. And after the military left, the Berkeley Carter was always like kind of shabbier than, you know. So Mr. Vaccaro and his brother purchased the hotel in like a redevelopment plan in like the 80s. And they were joined by a newscaster from Channel 2 News, Ernie Anastas, right? Of all people, right? I don't know if you guys remember Ernie Anastas. I think he ended up on Channel 9. He was like an 80s newscasting, you know what I mean? Like regular, you know what I mean? Always telling them about people getting shot and mugged in New York City for many, many years. Today on the 9 train, several people were stabbed, assaulted with a piece of bologna. Ernie Anastas. And oddly, the fourth infestor in the Berkeley Carteret was one of Henry's personal, like, best friends, none other than Johnny Cash, Man in Black. Johnny Cash. And he became like a kindred friend to Henry Vaccaro. Henry Vaccaro actually wrote a book about their time together. You know what I mean? That's very interesting, right? So they became very close. I know that Mr. Vaccaro was very affected by Johnny Cash's death. You know what I mean? So it's interesting how the world grows, man, how the world is. But that's where the old Bobby G story intersects with this whole little thing, man. After Mr. Vaccaro was done with the hotel, they sold it to the Maharishi, of all people. Believe it or not, man, the Maharishi was trying to turn it into like a meditation university or something like that. But he kept it open as like, you know what I mean, like a ragtag drug hotel or whatever in the meantime. Because he knew about back end the Maharishi, you know what I'm saying? He wanted some money. It's a true story. And then they sold it to this other development firm, and that's where I come in. They redubbed it to Berkeley, and they refinished it and got new beds and stuff. And I was running an agency of like cleaning ladies, like for the hotel, for the rooms and for the lobby and stuff like that. Hey man, hotels need cleaning people, are hard to find. This is when Asbury was come on up for the rising. Back in the like 2000s, when things were starting to pop at Asbury Park, right? The first time in many years. So the Berkeley, I remember having to go there a lot, and this British dude was like in charge of the whole scene. In his office, I remember he's real proud. He had this big desk. He's like, this desk belongs to Johnny Cash. I was like, no shit, really, Johnny Cash? You don't say. And he showed me there's a weird floor upstairs that has like only like 4 foot like ceilings. And he said that it was designed for like people that had like mentally ill, like family members or crippled family members that were like, you know what I mean, dilapidated. They just put them up there for like $2 board for a whole summer. You know what I mean? Maybe we'll give them some water. You know what I'm saying? He says that like the Hasidic Jews and like the Mormons rent that floor when they have their little conventions because they don't really care. You know what I mean? We can fit in there. Yeah. I ain't shit you, man. I've been up there. I've seen it myself. It was bizarre, man. It looked like a pet boarding. It was just strange, man. But anyway, next to this big desk that he had in his office, there was this big spot on the floor, and I was like, "Hey, man, there's a big spot on your floor, man. I have one of my girls come in and clean that. Come in here, Celestina. You know what I mean?" Like, he's like, "Oh, no, don't touch that." And I was like, "Sorry, never mind, Celestina. Go back." You know what I'm saying? He's like that. It's Johnny Cash's vomit. Cool. Right? I guess, And, yeah, man, it was Johnny Cash's puke on the floor. It had still been there for, I guess the Maharishi dug it too. Yes, it belonged to Johnny Cash, that puke, yes. Just meditate by it. Oh, yeah, Johnny Cash, right? Weird stuff, man. I don't lie, man. I don't even embellish. I just remember, man. Well, I hear that train a-coming. They're coming around the bend. Well, I ain't seen the sunshine, and I don't know when. But I'm stuck in Folsom Prison. Running on. And that train keeps on rolling down at San Antonio. Well, Mama said, be good boy, you don't learn the son. Don't you ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. Amen. I just barely know the lyric of that. So, I love you guys, man. Henry Vaccaro, God bless you. Thank you for answering my questions. Always a sage. Wonderful man. Legend. Locally, internationally, a rock star, man. This is a great, great instrument. This is, I guess, his first foray into Henry Vaccaro branded instrumentation. Great piece, man. Love it. Very, very rare. Peace be with you. We'll see you next week. We'll start another twofer, man. This is just one off for the special 3-week Wednesdays, man.